Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 Quick Match gameplay. This time around we are playing a little bit of Brettonia against Empire, and this is a matchup that, it's about 50-50 I'd say. Now, certainly in win rate, supposedly it's in Empire's favor, or Brettonia's favor, but I think that with the right comps, it can really shift either way, and it's kind of decided by the cavalry fight in most situations. Certainly there's gimmicky comps Empire can do where they kind of camp on top of artillery or steam tank, but in most cases it's going to be decided by the cav fight. So what I decided to do here, I brought the usual Royal Hippogriff Goon Squad because it's oh so good, and it's actually going to get buffed this upcoming patch. It's supposedly Royal Hippogriffs are even better than now, which is crazy. I think they're already, I've listed them as my top hidden gem. I think they're an awesome unit already. Buffs, they don't deserve them in my opinion, but I'm glad they're getting them. So for my lord, I did bring the Enchantress. She is, I do believe, staying the same in the upcoming patch, but she is getting a slight rework to Regrowth. Her Lore of Life is getting a rework, in the sense that Regrowth is no longer going to give physical resistance, but it's going to refresh Vigor. It's going to be plus 100% Vigor. So that's kind of a net nerf to Brettonia, because Brettonia obviously has perfect Vigor on most of its elite troops. So the fact that Regrowth no longer refreshes physical, gives physical resist, but refreshes Vigor is literally a useless component for them. That aside, it's much more useful for other factions, and I still think it's a good spell in my opinion from what I saw. I did bring Arcane Conduit, Favor of the Fae, and Chalice of Potions here. Obviously, we do have Mist of the Lady, Earthblood, and Regrowth as usual. So, Enchantress, very powerful lord right now, and of course, probably going to be still very potent even come the Regrowth change. For the front line, it is a whole bunch of men-at-arms, and when I say a whole bunch, I mean only 3 units. So men-at-arms with shields, backed by 3 peasant mobs. Trying to get width. If my opponent went more narrow, it's just a greatsword build. We might be able to swarm into backline with the peasants and just distract and time down. We do have 2 units of peasant bows as well to provide some fire arrow damage, and then a single unit of beast slayers of Bastone in the back. For those of you who don't know, peasant bows with fire arrows actually do more damage per hit on average, even against heavily armored troops. Even against Phoenix Guard, I do believe they out-damage their more AP damage counterparts, the pox arrows and the normal arrows. So that is a fun fact of the day, guys. On the flanks, we do have the Companions of Cannel, as well as the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. This is actually the wrong flank for that. Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis there, and the Questing Knights. Questing Knights great in this matchup because they don't do magic damage, so you can't screw them with a Grand Shield of Faith as well. Grand Shield of Faith you can still screw them with, but you can't screw them with Soulfire. And they'll tear through Demigriffs pretty well with some buffs. And Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, just a cheap cav option to get rear charges, get pound enemy backlines, that sort of stuff. 2 Hippogriffs because they hard counter demis pretty effectively, especially if you get rear charges. And then finally the Companions of Cannel over there camping out, and a little too far out of position because my opponent is going to be able to push into these Outriders. And although I'm pretty on top of it, pretty on top of running away, he's going to get a few hits in here and really ruin my day. Now for my opponent, we do see the Outriders. Otherwise, he's got pretty heavy on the cavalry. He's brought Volkmar the Grim over here with the Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, and the Jade Griffin. Interestingly enough, no Benediction, which I actually think is worth it. And besides no Benediction, no Grand Shield of Faith or Grand Soulfire, which I think is so good in this matchup because of magic damage for Brettonia. But that doesn't make an appearance. He's alongside some Demigriff's halberds, so this is kind of that Faith demi-meta type thing. They are backed by 2 units of the Blazing Sun, so a lot of potential shock damage on my poor infantry. Silver Bullets camping out here on the flank, ready to shut down my Knights or my Flyers or units like that. A Light Wizard with Barona's Time Warp as well as a Net, both very powerful spells in this matchup. A whole bunch of spears in the front line. These guys will, I do believe, lose to men-at-arms with shields, especially the normal spears. Maybe not the shielded spears, but definitely not going to do too great. 2 crossbows to dish out some ranged hurt, and then a single unit of Empire Knights who are now running away because they don't really want to get caught out here on this flank, and that's definitely some good play from my opponent. Over here, I did try to get the Enchantress into these Outriders, but it didn't quite work out. You can see the Peasants a little bit out of position. I wanted to keep them in the center, but not quite working out. My opponent here skates around the flank with the Empire Knights and does dive into my men-at-arms with shields, but unfortunately it's not sort of a full-blooded charge, and you can see he's going to get bogged down a little bit here. And in comes the Air Force, and you can see with Flight of the Valkyries blaring full tilt, these guys are going to come in and just pound these Empire Knights, just crush them. And it's going to be some brutal stuff. Now, perhaps I should have been a little more patient and gotten a bit of a flank with my other Demigriffs, or with my other Hippogriffs, but these guys are still going to have a horrible day. You can see they're losing entire models, and in a few seconds, the Empire Knights are almost dead. I do believe Empire Knights are actually, might be getting a buff. Maybe not, they're not getting a buff. I thought I saw them get a buff, but I don't think they are. Over here, the Fire Arrows are teeing off on the Silver Bullets, pushing them off, forcing them to back off. They're only up to 25 kills, but most of that is against these Peasants, so who cares? They're Peasants. We're just constantly forcing them back. Unfortunately, over here, my opponent is going to push his demigriffs into my companions of Canal. You can see we're going to dive in, start this engagement up, and as we're engaging, we are going to hit these guys with a Favor of the Fae, trying to keep that melee attack up, and then we're going to follow up with a Regrowth. Now, currently, Regrowth, very beneficial. In the soon-to-be future, less useful, because we're not going to get that physical resist, but nonetheless, these demigriff knights with halberds having a horrible time getting rear charged by these very angry hippogriffs, and just demolished. Instant buckling. It doesn't matter the Barona's time work, Grand Shield of Faith, and all that stuff is up. These guys get dumpstered, and it's some brutal stuff out here, guys. They immediately shatter, and now Volkmar is out of position. He's trapped, and he's getting his face pounded in. Now, Volkmar, you know, he's okay tanky. He does have some magic resist in there, some missile resist, but he's not going to hold up well. That said, bows have a bad day as Knights of the Blazing Sun kind of run them down. You know, these guys think they can play with fire, but these fiery lances, they hurt. Look at that guy, he's just buckling. Oh, poor him. In the back line, though, in the meantime, you can see the Defenders of the Fluidly actually catching these Outriders. That's one of the cool things with Brettonian cavalry. They're pretty quick, so 75 speed. If you hit the charge animation, you're going to hit Outriders and units like that. These slower cavalry are going to get run down. Elsewhere, you can see my peasants kind of rallying, so I'll be able to feed them in. And you can see these questing knights over here kind of plowing through, getting a little snagged on the spears, but we are getting into some of these crossbows. I was trying to kind of shoot the gap, trying to push through to these crossbowmen and really shut down my opponent's rear line. Elsewhere, you can see these Empire Knights bog down on the peasants. We do kill Volkmar or shatter him. And my opponent now in a very grim spot. You can see these fire arrows still online, going to be able to start teeing off on these Outriders. And the cavalry squad just pushing on, going after these Outriders, pushing them off. Unfortunately, the Knights Errant here get to get snagged by a net, and it followed up with Knights of the Blazing Sun, so their days are numbered. Definitely not where they want to be in life, but what can you do? They tried their best. A Combat of Cassandra there does go down. It kind of whiffs the Spearmen, but oh well, we tried. We tried our best. Well, in the meantime, the Fae and the Hippogriffs tear apart the Silver Bullets, taking a little bit of a pounding, but we are going to hit them with a Regrowth, I do believe. Or actually, I hit the wrong unit probably with the Regrowth there, but regardless, a bit wasted. We didn't really need the Regrowth. We could have gone with like an Earthblood there to get both units, but oh well. We are going to be able to get in on these Outriders and really start pressuring them off. You can see the Fae Enchanters draining their life. Oh, there's the Earthblood following up, and we just have maximum healing here, really keeping us tip-top shape. Elsewhere, Companions of Canal do destroy those Knights for good, and now the Knights of the Blazing Sun sort of trying to get in there, but protracted melee, not really their forte. They'll do great on the charge, but the Companions of Canal just have such good stats. 47, 48 with physical resist. They are going to trash these Knights of the Blazing Sun as this fight drags out. These guys just have such bad melee defense, 24. They're really not going to be able to hold out forever. And the Peasants are coming in. Of course, Peasants, as we all know, are literally the most powerful force on the battlefield. So they're going to start dragging these Knights down. You can see they're all the way up to 3 kills, and they're looking to score some more hits here against these Knights. If we quickly take a quick overarching look, you can see the Outriders pursued by the Fae, the Hippogriffs coming in for some rear charges on these pockets of troops. But really, I think the real heat of the moment situation is right here in the pits. The Peasant Bobbers have dragged down another Knight. They're up to 4 kills now, and I think this, as the game really starts petering out, the Peasants just carrying the day. 5 kills now. As you can see, those Knights of the Blazing Sun really struggling against those armor-piercing shovels and picks and pitchforks, and at this point my opponent's army is going to shatter. He really didn't have any tools left on the field, and as his Light Wizard there was getting swamped by the Hippos, there wasn't much for him to do. So, well played to my opponent there. Pretty cool comp from Bullfrog. And yeah, the Hippos, they are good. They are amazing in this matchup, and stack them on Questing Knights, and you got some absolute Empire Knight killing power. I love the Companions of Canal, the Questing Knight combo in this matchup. You catch some out Demigriffs, which are such a common sight in this matchup, and you will do great work. And of course, they're great units if your opponent brings a Steam Tank as well. They'll tear through a lower-end Empire Cavalry as well. The Hippogriffs just give you so much flexibility, Fear, Terror, all that good stuff, so just very, very potent units. I really do like this sort of comp against Empire. The Defenders of Fluidity kind of got dumpstered, but 21 kills against Outriders is not bad, and the main thing is they were applying pressure, and they were applying pressure on a budget. They're a very cheap unit at 850, so good. Peasants, of course, raking in the kills, which are really carrying the day. I think without the Peasants, this battle would have easily been a loss. But in all seriousness, the Peasants do provide some valuable work. Now for my opponent, interesting build. I think I do get what he was going for with the spears here, being the anti-large component, providing some frontal zoning. So if I try to charge him, all he has to do is sit tight and brace, and I can't just plow through him. But I do think there wasn't really enough tools to deal with a lot of cav. His only real tools to deal with cav were the doubled up Outriders and the Demigriffs and the Silver Bullets. So it's 4 units, which isn't bad, but against Brettonia, who can bring a lot of cav, can bring great zoning tools to deal with Outriders and those archers to just whittle down your silver bullets, it can be a bit of an issue when you just don't really have any other proper tools to deal with heavy cav. The Hippogriffs could basically do whatever they wanted. As soon as I got rid of those Demigriffs, all these other troops were screwed. Companions of Canal, similarly, you can kind of pursue the Outriders, force them off if they don't have enough coverage. It's tough. So I think you're better off either going very heavily on cav and trying to win the cav game as Empire, or going lighter on cav, or maybe completely avoiding cav, but bringing a very heavy shooting contingent, maybe with Steam Tank to anchor the lines. This is one of the few matchups where Steam Tank can perform okay. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the Steam Tank, but you have seen me do it before in some matches, I think. And it is one of those situations where the Steam can definitely shine. But regardless, well played to my opponent Bullfrog here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. We found it entertaining and fun to watch. Definitely hyped for the upcoming patch and for the changes to be made to Brettonia, because I want my Hippogriffs to be even more OP. If you have any comments and criticism, as usual, do not hesitate to post them. I will do my best to respond as soon as I can. As usual, I do appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.